Check Yourself Volume Number 1. In spite of past and continuing attempts of certain alien enemies to create differences based on tribalism and religion, the Ethiopian PEOPLE have waged a successful struggle against these forces of evil and thus preserved their national unity. Damawi Haile Selassie. Irations by Rastafari. Check Yourself Volume Number 1. Written by Rastafari. Edited by Catrice McClure. Final edit by Shaman AI Tal Jarut. Cover design by Catrice McClure. Image layout by Scott Mosher. Word Sound Power Collective. Distributed by Wisemind Publications. Contact rasflaco@gmail.com, rasflaco@gmail.com, wisemindpublications@gmail.com. wisemindpublications@gmail.com. Copyright Wisemind Publications. All rights reserved. No part of this publication may be reproduced or stored without prior permission of the publisher. As the time clock ticks away, many have found themselves eating out of the next man vineyard. It is said one's lifespan is sometimes measured by the quality of food consumed. Is this a case of the modern ways overpowering the ancient ways of living? Or is this a global economic strategy of consumer goods monopoly? How can you speak of African liberation and stuck in mental stagnation? When will you wake up from your restless slumber or comfort zone and do the right thing? The revelation of the hidden truth from the wise and prudent has now been revealed to the babes and sucking. Are you among the chosen few with this knowledge? Because of a stiff-neck attitude, some will huff and puff and glue their house down. They all refuse to open themselves to the new faculty of interpretation and now prefer to languish in pit of darkness, ignorance, skullduggery, and even false hope. When will they learn? Behold how good and pleasant it is to exalt the name of Jah Rastafari. The stone that the builder refused is now the head cornerstone. So don't lose self-confidence and go running back to the old church bench. Know that the pastor can't save you in this time. Biblical references point to the revelation of Haile Selassie I. So why are these Christians so stiff-necked? Have they no respect for the throne of the ancient King David and his 225th descendant? Or are they drunk with their old wine of deception? You think that the Fetha Nagast and the Kabra Nagast, along with the utterances of Damawi Haile Selassie, should be made available at all times in Nyabingi houses, just like how the King James Bible is available? Do you think that reasoning should be held on these ancient books of Ethiopia to balance the levity of Rastafari? If you take a little time to look on things, then begin to look through things, you could find out that many things are camouflage before your very eyes. If you are not able to unscramble the coded material, you could end up with a twisted mind and a hatred for your very self and others around you. It's as simple as that. Global networking has its own challenges for Rastafari. Can it bring forth greater unity, more overstanding, or greater historical clarity? Can it move aside petty prejudices so that needy resources be shared? Will Rastafari be able to master the alternative pathway to progress or be absorbed in the quicksand of divide and rule? If love has a color, what color would it be? If love has a country, where can I find it? It is not good to be quick with the pen to sign against your brethren or sisterin. It is not good to ride on the emotional edge of the paper tiger. Words spoken or written is sometimes difficult to retrieve, although some will forgive and forget. However, always have a clear head. Ask yourself questions first. Double-check your facts before you act. Never be in haste to write or to speak against anyone. The fittest of the fittest have to survive in this time. However, in your doing, give an helping hand to the weak. Have no fear, they will not drag you down in the mud, but empower you in the end. How can one function without effective communication? Nothing should be taken for granted. Nothing should be built on a sump. Tie-in. Let there be no place for Mr./Mrs. Deceiver, mistrust, or snake in the grass. Time to set the integrity admin. If as Rastafari, you encounter a religious roadblock, it is wise not to retreat or surrender, but to drive through, knowing that religion is personal and the state is for all. don't get caught in set traps for 2013 and beyond. Now if you violate the order of the Nyabingi for personal gain, what will your answer be on the day of reckoning? If we all continue to give more of our service to the state and less to Rastafari sustainable development, don't cry when things fall apart. If wearing dreadlocks is a declaration of your faith in Rastafari, make sure you trod with integrity, honesty, and love that reflects the divine character of Tamawi Haile Selassie at all times. If you are baptized in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church and are dreadlocks Rastafari, are you now a Rastafari, Orthodox Christian? Or are you just Rastafari declaring the divinity of Tamawi Haile Selassie while you full joy the benefits of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church? If you lose your identity because of foreign influence, the traditions of your ancestors will be lost, and when you adopt this new culture as your own, very soon you will no longer be your true self, but live in the shadow of the other man. The liberty of Rastafari is inborn and not learned in school. The sage and ancients already said it. Now is the time for the children to live it in this timeless generation. If you sit and wait on repatriation or reparation money and have no plans for migration to Africa, the motherland, your dreams and aspiration may not be realized during your lifetime. If you don't know your story, yet brainwashed by the educational system by his story, you will know nothing in the end. Rastafari should delight themselves in the works of the Ola One of creation, and not the desires of the heart. One should always calm the self unto the good governance of Jah Rastafari, and not confusion and unwanted conflicts. If you are in denial about your reality, and refuse to face up with your present situation, you will surely encounter a mental blockade, and end up with backward outlook. The propaganda machinery has increased the ignorance among the people instead of making them more literate. Many are programmed to create sugar-coated falsehood among the nation. Beware. How can you speak of African liberation and stuck in mental stagnation? When will you wake up from your restless slumber or comfort zone and do the right thing? It is like the world today is locked down in political corruption and market forces gridlocked. It is like everywhere you turn macadam you. The big money Chang heirs just can't be satisfied with their profits. It is pain a back and pain a belly for the small man. What a woe. Whenever you chant Jah Rastafari and wave your emblem, know that the Rastafari movement is sacred. It took the self-sacrifice, physical endurance, and the unrepentant position of the ancient patriarchs and matriarchs who had gone before, and all heirs who are now present today with Ini. It seems like democracy is being redefined. The rights of the people to defend themselves are being crushed in the name of uprising. The overthrow is being set to overthrow the overthrower in the name of liberation. Is this the new trend for global governance? In the end, Jah Rastafari shall bring forth righteousness as night, bring forth the day. It is always wise to cease from anger, evil doing, forsake wrath, and cleanse yourself from vexation of spirit. Humankind set unjust laws, and Jah Rastafari will wipe out them out in due time. The sages have already spoken. If Ini continue to shirk from Ini responsibility, which is to govern Ini selves according to HIM guidance, surely others will take charge of Ini affairs. If Rastafari continue on the gradient of consuming without producing, the movement will run contrary to the fundamental principles of Rastafari to be self-sufficient and self-reliant. Life is a mystic trod, whereby nature have its own time clock, and mankind is now forced into humility. The machines that are created can only predict or measure the level of natural disasters. Know that our present structures are like paper toys to the forces of nature. It is futile to stockpile weapons to destroy ourselves. Beware, nature will destroy us in the long run if we fail to comply with natural laws. When you check within yourself and see what you are, you will see what you want to become. Then you will have to measure your steps not to slip or slide or be carried away through carelessness. This is not the time to play games. This is time to step up to the heights of Rastafari liberty.